remnants of his supplements, and he immediately knew, because that child, he's always praising that child for his analytical mind. He's always praising the child because the child is so analytical and so inquisitive, and he's always praising that. So when he comes in there and he sees that, he knows automatically he's the same analytical child. He's like, so he just rushing to find him in rage. And he finds him, and you know the rest. It may not be physical, but it's going to be rage. And the child ends up crying away and it's confused. Because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do naturally, but I'm being blasted and reprimanded for it. I was left freely to walk up and down in this. This is my playground. This is my work ground, isn't it? You leave me here, you give me the TV, give me my toys, but now I've seen this strange-looking container, I bust it open, now I'm being killed for it. This is inadequate parenting. Inadequate parenting, because we should know better. The father knows what the child was like. And any child, we know what they're like. Keep your stuff out of the way. But if you've made a mistake, why are you going to... And we do it all the time through things that we think are valuable. Yeah? They could block up one of your most valuable things. They see it's different in their eyes. But we have to get on that frequency. Otherwise, it's going to be inadequate parenting. And you're going to frighten the child. And they're going to shrink. Their soul is going to shrink. And they're going to withdraw. And you're going to call them shy. See, two of my old brethren them from back. They know. Where is the other one? Where's Dwight? he slipped in here, right? They know what I was like as a child. So all of what I'm saying, they only just come in, but they can vouch for everything I just said. Yes. You see? So the third story, going back, was my son. And I was the father. I'm the father. I am the father who carried out that inadequate act, rage, because of my valuable amino acids by accident. But he's just doing his normal, natural role, and I raged on him. And to the point where rage was going on too often, that the child starts to withdraw from the parent. They're not so open with the parent. Until the point, 18 months ago, about a year ago, I had a breakdown or completion of the marriage. Some of you might think that's crazy, but I'm just using the word completion. You may be more familiar with the word breakup. I'm using the word completion for a reason which you may understand one day. But anyway, that caused further stress on the children, of course. And they take it and own it as their problem. That Daddy's not here, it's because of me. So there was other, a certain level of hostility built up, and I could feel it between me and my son. And I realized, I come off the phone one day, I realized that I have to act fast and uniquely different to anything I've ever done. And I had to dig deep into humility. Deep. And I realized, I have to be sincere before I speak to him. And as a 10-year-old, I called him and I apologized for every physical incident or rage and promised I would never do it again. And thank you. And and this is the point, because this is where the healing starts. And since that relationship is just growing now. It's just growing. Because they see me as transparent. We in the black community, with too much secrecy. You don't understand. Secrecy in any intimate relationship is enough to drive anybody mad. That's a spiritual wound. This is an intimate relationship. What's the secrecy? I'm not saying you got to tell them everything. But where's the secret? My mother, I don't want to open that door. But, there's nothing but love there. But I'm saying our parents have too much secrecy. You see? Sorry. Yeah. There's too much secrecy in our communities, in which is leading to so much spiritual wounds. But anyway, yeah, that's the 3 stories, and I'm hoping, you can see a range of points that I'm trying to make in those three stories. Can you? You see? And it's a lot more since, my experience and my study, the study tallied and coincided with my experience. Experience comes first. And it's brought me to a point to realize that most of the madness out there, all of it even, what we're talking about today is going back. The children they've been ignored, neglected, but most of all, it all comes under abuse. As I say, all of it comes under emotional abuse. But this is what the children, it's about the parenting, what's going on right now out in the street. The knife crime and so on is talking about, when you talk about angry children, when you talk about mental breakdowns, yes, you're talking about some rage that has been held up and it has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. So it's going to go in somebody's belly or it's going to blow my mind. It's happening on, and then you got all the drugs and so forth, people, drug addicts and all these drugs. Listen, what do they call it? I forgot the name of them. I used to reel them off. So, Enalapril, and all these different names. I can't remember them now. These pharmaceutical drugs and crack cocaine, heroin, weed, and all that, they're all the same. Listen, everybody here, everybody has the right to live pleasurable, pleasant, to feel good at all times, right? So when we're not, we're going to take medicine. The medicine, if it's not enalapril, it might be ganja. If it's not ganja, it might be cocaine. But we tell the crack addict, they're sick. They're sick bad. And they're just seeking the shot to make them feel better. That's what's going on. Study, go out there and look, and there's doctors that are speaking about this now. One who comes to mind is Dr. Gabor Mate. He's done some in-depth, he's lived, or should I say, worked amongst these people. So it's out there. I've been there myself. I walked the road, so I know. Yeah? But anyway, time. Then if we take questions later, or... Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead. Any questions?
Point is the mic here. Have we got another? Theo, can we give another mic, Theo?
So my name is Brother Dada. The question I wanted to ask was, what's the name of that plant? Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Anybody
else? Any questions?
Minty. Okay.
Yes. A long time I tell people about this illegalization of drugs, because them know why they're doing it. They make it illegal. Kind of the 1920s, them did make alcohol illegal in America. And it create a crime wave. And them know that, and them release the alcohol and start do it with cocaine, ganja, heroin, and all of them. So here we have a medical problem, and then them turn it into a crime. And the police, them know this from morning. The politicians know this from morning. But money and control in it.
Yeah, true. But the point I'm making with that, you're right what you're saying, but I'm more talking about the user. Why is the user using crack? If you've been traumatized, and listen.
Yeah, but me did agree with you with that,
Yes, I hear you. Yeah. I'm not
and that's it why me I point out the law where them used to take away that kind of thing from the people, right? And if them never did do that, them would have did go to the root of the problem, which is that them now conduct society in the way society conduct.
Right, exactly.
You understand?
Yeah. You see, when you're growing up amongst, what we got to understand is, is that these rigid upbringings is abusive. I know it don't sound nice. You know, but if we don't face truth, we will never live in truth. We're going to live a lie. Because everything that comes from that in the rest of your life, I could go through a reel of things. I know this now because I've studied myself. I've looked at everything that's come from me. And I can type childhood trauma or childhood adverse experiences, giving me all the answers. All of my answers that I've been seeking. You understand? So when you've had that rigid upbringing, and you're not feeling too good about yourself, it's hard to reach a point of gratitude for nature and life. It's hard to reach that point. I've got a story on that, but I won't time. Yeah. Now, somebody gives you a taste of something nice, cigarette, weed, alcohol, whatever. It's gonna feel so nice and resonate with your being because I've never felt this good. So what are you going to do? Take it again. Right. So this is what's going on. This is what's going on. There's different degrees of this, and we got to get into it. Yeah? Any more questions?
Yeah, there is some things that unfortunately, it's happening now. We're in the 21st century. And what's happening is the issue of people's brains are being affected by EMF radiation, especially children, because their brains are still developing, and it's giving them a serious mental health issue. We need to wake up to reality. 5G is going to be put on every lamppost everywhere now.
Let me just stop you a minute, please.
Right.
Let me just stop you a minute. 1 minute, Dougie. Let me stop you a minute. If me and you are walking in the jungle,
yeah,
and a lion and a bear appears, right? We've got a mechanism in us, fight or flight. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fight or flight. Suppose you can't do none of those. What are you going to do? What's going to happen? You can't fight and you can't fly. What are you going to do?
Run.
Run is flight.
Freeze.
Freeze. Jammed. When you go into the inner child work today, they call it about a frozen child. You're frozen back then. Because you couldn't fight, you couldn't fly. Why? Because the lion comes home every night. The lion that we gave you, he comes home or she comes home every night. So there's no fight or flight because you have to live with it. It's your parents. Do you see what I'm saying? You get me? It's your parents. So the jam, the freeze, which is a trauma response, yeah, it ties in with shy. Then you have fawn. Fawn is like, who knows that codependency? Codependent? No, okay, I won't go into that. Right, that's fawn. That's fawn is more codependent. But the freeze is the point. You can't fight, you can't flight because you're stuck. It's your parent. The lion or the bear is your parent. So now a very natural process that you can't be done. Jammed. Now, when you jam up like that, you lock off your soul to protect it from the lion. But guess what? You lock off your soul to the whole world. You're emotionally closed. Are we not seeing that? Are we not seeing that? Are we not? Go ahead. Yeah, but I'm saying no. I'm saying 5G first. What happening on your host first? You took look. My point is this. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop doing. I'm not saying there's certain conspiracies or not. Let's stop doing that because we've been talking about conspiracies out there, and we're not looking here. So I'm saying the first whatever they're happening. But listen, the point is, the first thing is happening when you're in your house.
Exactly.
That's the first thing. Was the trouble that's going? It's in your home. The 5G and I know the conspiracy. Yeah, but it's your parenting and your home and your environment that's got us off.
Well,
Sorry.
Sorry.
I missed the point. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Sorry.
Just can't even
say that. No, let me understand. Sorry. Say that again, brother. Yeah, but listen, all right, it can be there, right? But hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. When you look at the damage that's done from parenting to what 5G, yeah? Come on. Listen, come on. Listen, all right, well, anyway, fair enough.
Yeah, okay, Dougie. This lady here and then this gentleman had his hand up. Yeah. What we've got to do is not shout out randomly. We are very passionate people. It's a beautiful thing, but we've got to maintain order. I'm not sure if you want to
Listen, let me just say, I mean, I don't want to go into no conspiracy things and what's happening, the truth. The truth is this, the ultimate truth is that nature, God, gave you, some parents to groom you and condition you and to fulfill your developmental needs. And that's not happening. Anything after that we can talk about. I don't mind. But I'm saying the real truth. So from that, we're living a complete life in untruth. Because when you shut your soul off from the danger in the environment, your life just goes down a lie, 100% lie. So I'm not taking nothing away from none of that, but I'm saying the first truth is you and your parents. There's nothing that come before that.
Okay. I hear what you say about the parents, because similar background, Caribbean parents. And you have to, yes, many times they did things that you didn't understand, and maybe later in life you'll think, it wasn't helpful. But I found that, yes, I've had to go back and look at it, but I've actually gone further to look at the trauma that my parents experienced, because I've been very fortunate that as you get older, they start to see you differently. That's what this is about. No, I'm just saying, they see you differently, and they actually start to speak to you. And then you start to get an understanding. There was no bad intention. And it's a learning for them as well as for you. I mean, I'm going to say to you, I'm absolutely surprised that my father has feelings. Because he was the type of man, when he came in through the door, everybody went quiet. Because he was at home.
Right.
But now I've actually seen this man cry.
Yes.
Because he now feels able to speak his truth.
But the damage is already done.
No, but I am the product of the damage. And I'm going to say to you, I don't think I am damaged, because I've gone, as well as looking at what's happened to me, I've gone further back, and it's helped me because I have to go forward, because I have children who there are problems. And you said something very, very important. You said that you learned when your child spilled all the pills, etc., because of probably just that kind of experience, your first experience was rage. But you have gone on further to look at yourself and whatever else, and now you can talk to that child. Because I'm going to say, it's not a situation just in time. It's a constant evolving, lots of loving and forgiving.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Definitely. I'm not going to be here trying to convince you that you're traumatized. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just trying to highlight a point that's, that we haven't really, you understand? But let me make a point as well, is that it's not about, listen, I love my parents dearly, and I love all parents, but I think you still got more to go when you start to go back and actually just sit down, because I've been so fascinated by their life and how they've done the very best they could, and they absolutely love me. Yes, that's what I'm saying, my dear. That's not being challenged. Hold on, David. I'm just saying, you will still find there's more. When you go back, you go back and you get the trail of trauma that they went through, and it's there, and it highlights this point even more. Sorry? One sec. All right. You made a point. So now, yeah, I'm not trying to convince you, but you see, the key is childhood developmental milestones, yeah, which no man don't set. His nature set them. God set them, whichever way you want it. You get what I'm saying? So in order to answer that question, we have to check those markers and see if we've fulfilled them. Yeah, but I'm not going to go into, because I could reel off every single one of them and we could speak about it, but that's another conversation.
I work in a secondary school in Hackney, and what you talk about is what I see day in, day out. So what I mean by that, I'm a parent liaison officer and a behavior mentor, but what happens, I see a lot of young people, teenagers, coming into my office, speaking, offloading their pain, their emotion to me. My answer would be speak to mum or dad. Can't speak to mum. And I'm going through that right now.
That's the
they
point.
can't.
That's the point.
But saying that, I do understand what my sister said over there, because I've had to deal with, because I've got 4 boys, I've had to deal with my own trauma. And by going back, I had to then forgive my dad because I couldn't hold him accountable, yeah, to what he didn't know. So that's from in Jamaica. So I think we do have to go back, and I had to find forgiveness in terms of forgiving my dad and move forward.
Listen,
so I'm not knocking what you're saying.
No, but 1 minute.
I'm actually supporting what you're saying in terms of
right,
the young people in school. We need, as parents, what I've realized as a father, my sons speak to me. So it's not about, children are supposed to be seen and heard in a respectful way. So when my son comes to me now, I open up to him. Right. Yeah. So when I mean open up to him as parents, it's not about, oh, he's talked to me and I'm on the mobile phone or watching EastEnders.
Present.
Be present. Let them see you connected with them, and you're taking in what they're saying. So I hear what you're saying, but we do have to look at the post-traumatic slave syndrome and moving forward from there.
And you know, I just want to make it clear, because it seems like you think that I'm not attacking no parent, nobody. There's no one. Look, let me tell you something. There is nobody to blame. So this is a hard thing for us to deal with, you know, because we want someone to blame. It must be somebody's fault. It's nobody's fault. But this is happening. We are in a particular personality, and we have to analyze that personality, where it come from. We are in that. And we have self-development teachers like Mervyn, yeah? The greatest self-development is child development. Yeah? All he's taking you back to unwind. Bob Proctor, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown, they're taking you back to get rid of that paradigm. Because that's where the damage, the first 6-7 years of life is where the crystallization took place. So you're saying that you're cured and that it's not so easy.
Okay then. Kinsu, you know, we can go on, but we have to just put a pin there so because I can see things get warming up now, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even start the program yet. But first, big up to Dr. Kinsu. Come on, give him a clap. Right? Yep. See? So Kinsu, you want to sit down there or you want to go back where he was? Yeah. Okay, wherever. See over there. Okay then. Melvin, you ready first? Yeah? Because we do have a man deal with personal development. And this brother is, I call him the Terminator. You know, have you seen the film called The Terminator? That keeps going and going and going. And that's how I see Melvin Barrett, as the Terminator. He's become one of my closest friends, and I've learned a lot from this brother. When it comes to the brain and the mind, there's no one out there can touch him. So I want to say, go on, Melvin! No, he's not going to come on, you know. He's an ignorant person, you know. And he's a man would take me once and give me a box in my neck back. So I want to say, go on, Melvin! No, Melvin, that don't sound good to you, innit? Hold on. We'll try it again. Right? Go on, Melvin! All right, that sounds better. Come on, welcome Melvin to the front. Come on, give him a clap.
So, good afternoon and good late afternoon. Good evening, really good early evening. Everyone okay? Yeah, everyone? Whoa. Is that me? So, firstly, can you hear me okay? And then thing. Turn off that thing, no man. I'll speak louder. Can you hear me? Okay, so several things. First of all, I missed most of what you were saying there, and because I couldn't get parking anywhere. You're hitting on some really important points, and if I may, please forgive me if I say some things that you've already heard. But Brother Dougie's, he says, I specialize in the brain and how it works, and I've looked at that thing, that organ in the head, and it's basically a survival engine. Like, you know, like an engine that just keeps going all the time. Your brain is built for survival. That's the first priority of every single human brain. We don't even realize it's doing this. So, for example, when you are, as you're sitting there right now, your digestive system is being taken care of by your brain. The temperature of your body is being regulated by your brain. How you feel, your mood, is regulated by your brain. Everything that you do, your brain, as a survival engine, is looking out for you. There's an issue with that, which most of us are unaware of, and it's that the brain operates in one of two survival modes. The first mode, the first and foremost, is protection. So imagine, could somebody, if I were to ask you to strike a protective pose, how would you look? If I said strike a protective pose, how would you look? Anybody? Okay. Fetal position, covering up, right? That's the first way in which your brain operates. The second way in which your brain operates is in growth. In other words, it grows. There are two ways, legitimate ways of surviving. Which one do you think your brain operates in on a daily basis, regularly? Which one? Protection or growth? Protection. Oh, somebody's saying growth. Who said growth? And can you elaborate on that when you say growth? I don't know who was that said that? It was you. When you say growth, give me an example, my sister. Because we're constantly learning. So, and I'll just use a lovely example. So you're reading your book and really enjoying it, and you're learning, and suddenly a tiger comes up on you. Do you start, hold on a minute, tiger, listen, let me just, because I'm just learning. What would you do? You forget all about learning. You have to. Your brain won't allow you to stay there and say, tiger, hold on a minute, I'm learning. Your brain is going to make you do something. Fight, flight, or freeze. That's what the brain is designed to do. And that mechanism, and this is really important, because in the first 0 to 6 or 7 years, we don't realize, but psychologists know this, and child development specialists know this, but your brain operates at a certain frequency. And so as an adult, the frequency that it operates at is like a dream-like state. Have you ever been in a position where it's early in the morning and you're not really sleeping, but you're kind of half in and out of sleep, and when you're in that state, whatever you're dreaming about feels absolutely real, like real. Like I remember one time I was having this, I was about 15 or 16, I was having this incredible dream about guns, actually, and me and my friends, we were shooting at each other, but we were shooting each other with guns that were projecting stones, and the stones were coming, and they weren't hurting anybody. It was just the excitement of diving in and out and shooting at each other. It was fantastic. And I woke from that half daydream really believing that I'd been in a fight, and my body was sweating and everything. It was so real. Now, children between 0 and 6 live there. Their brain is processing information at that rate. One of the reasons for that is because when you're in that state, you learn better. You don't argue so much. You know, you get your 2 and your 3-year-old, you say, do this, go here, do that, and they just do exactly what you say without thinking. But as soon as they get to about 7 or 8, they start saying, why? Why? And that will drive you crazy, and they won't survive. Your brain does it deliberately so that you survive. In order to survive, one of the reasons why we're at the top of the food chain is because our ability to adapt to our circumstances is second to none. We're the best at it. So as a little baby, that adaptation system is part of who you are. Now, one issue with that is fight, flight, and freeze. So as my brother was saying, when mum or dad shouts at you and says, stop it, you're being stupid, that you don't hear you're being stupid. You hear, I am stupid. And if you hear that often enough, your brain remains, because you're in a state of a trance, it's actually real. Ever seen little children, right? You give them a cardboard box, and that cardboard box can be anything. And they'll amuse themselves for hours. Yeah? You say to your child, the tooth fairy is coming. And at a certain age, they totally believe it. You never put no money under their pillow. They know the tooth fairy did it, right? All of that, they totally believe it. And so when a child hears often enough, and it doesn't have to be too often, because our brain loves consistency, especially when it comes to survival. So it doesn't have to hear it often enough, but if it hears, you're getting on my nerves, you're a pain, you're stupid, you're too stupid, you must listen, you must learn. When it hears that often enough, it believes it. One of the worst things about this is, again, because your primary carers, mummy and daddy, they're your primary carers. There's nobody like them in the world to you. They are like gods. So when your primary carer is raging at you, it does fry your brain, because the person who is supposed to protect you, that's the person you run to when you're in danger. That's the very same person who's now harming you. Your brain can't cope. It doesn't know what to do. It literally fries the brain. And that's when we collapse inwards. And that's when we go into a protective state. And we believe that there's something wrong with us. So, and again, I just want to grab what the sister said there. It's so important that when you become aware of that, and it took me years. I mean, I'm 56 now, and when I was about 35, big man, defending, pick me on everything, I still used to cry myself to sleep. On the outside, I'm a big man. Inside, I was broken. And I tracked it back to when I was a kid, and I was told that I wasn't good enough, and I was too stupid, and I was a firstborn as well. So with the firstborn, there's extra caution. But parents don't realize that their caution that we have for our children, and our natural fear that we have, we're projecting that onto them. We project our fear. So when a child is born in growth. A child isn't born in protection. If there was a saber-toothed tiger or a great big bear going roar over in that corner, and me see that, I'd be like, but if a little 5 or 6-year-old, they would just walk up to that thing like, what's that? They're just inquisitive. And that is what is being, when you get into the fight, flight, and freeze, that mechanism that we all have is the thing that is wired into who we are. And so, again, you're absolutely right when you speak about most of us coaches. We help people to recognize what's going on there. Now, this is also important. I'm going to finish up now. So how do you, because what's the solution, man? You know, we all know the problem. And one of the issue with the problem is that whatever you focus on, if you've got a pen, take this down. Many things happen when you focus, but 3 things in particular. 1, whatever you focus on expands. I don't care what it is. It gets bigger. That's the first thing. The second thing, whatever you focus on, you you give it power. All right, so it expands and you give it power. So nobody can tell me how me feel. Which brings me to the third thing. Whatever you focus on, you feel. You feel it. So we kind of think that all our thinking is done up here. But actually, thinking is done in the body too, through feelings. And I sort of alluded to it earlier on when I talked about survival. When you are going about your daily business in the state of protection, particularly when it's psychological protection, one of the things that we tend to do is notice how we are feeling before we notice how we are thinking. Now, thinking and feeling are inextricably linked. But how often, take your time and listen to yourself, but also to other people when they're giving their opinion. Typically, it's not what they think, it's what they feel. And oftentimes, when we say, I think something, it's what we actually feel, but we can't tell the difference between thinking and feeling. So I help people to extricate, disentangle those two areas of us. You have to have them. Thinking and feeling create inner alignments. When there's inner conflict, you don't operate very well. But when there's no conflict between head and heart, you go at it. And that happens in any field. So, for example, this is going to sound a bit controversial, but you know that lunatic in New Zealand who shot up all those people, right? When he woke up that morning, do you think there was any conflict in him? He's like, no, I'm doing it today. That's it. Done. Head and heart in alignment. Millionaires, head and heart in alignment. Drug addicts, head and heart in alignment, not recognizing how to solve the problem. And again, when you look at a problem, it just gets bigger. We've got to start looking at the solution. So one of the things that you've got to recognize with your brain, again, I'll just keep going on about this thing because it's just incredible. It can do anything. It's the way you sometimes language your issue. So for a long time, especially how I used to feel, I'd be like, why am I so stupid? Why am I so stupid? Now I'm looking for an answer. Your brain must answer. It has to find an answer to your question. So here's what my brain would do. It doesn't go into the future, it goes into the past. Well, you're stupid, Mervyn, because when you were 5, your mum told you were stupid, and you're also stupid because when you were 7, they all laughed at you and got that question wrong. And then when you're 15, that girl told you were ugly and you felt stupid. And because when you're 25, you tell yourself that you're stupid, right? So your brain just instantly, I'm reading these off like sequentially. Your brain does that in parallel. It does that instantly. And it does it like a kaleidoscopic picture, like a movie. So you don't just think it, you feel it. So how do you get around that? Well, if you're looking for a solution, imagine if I said something like, instead of saying, why am I so dumb or why am I so stupid, I said something like, how do I get more intelligent? You see, I interrupt that problem because I'm looking for a solution. If I say, how do I get more intelligent? Can my brain go back and say, you know what, when you were 5, you were dropped on your head, and that's why you're stupid? Can it say that? Can it? I didn't give it that information. I asked it for a solution. It may say, well, I don't know what to do, but it's not going to go back looking for problems. So it really, especially when we have challenges, we tend to look at the past. So, yeah, slavery syndrome and all of those things, when really we want to start looking for possibility. And I'll give you an example. My daughter.
1 minute, yeah.
1 minute, yeah. 1 minute. Instead of thinking about the past, think about possibility. So my daughter, she is 13. As I would have said a few years ago, based on my own upbringing, fierce as I am. But I don't say that anymore because she's just wonderful. She's just herself. And she was running out the house. We're going on the way to school, and she was a little bit late. And I said, come, we've got to go now. And then she ran back in and said, I've got my pencil case. So I said, okay. And I waited. She didn't come out. So I ran back in and said, Ayana, let's go. And then I saw her coming up. She's coming downstairs, and her face didn't look right. And I said, "You okay?" She went, "Yeah, I'm all right." And I said, "Well, come on, let's go." And she went, "Just one second." She ran into the kitchen and came out again. And I said, "What's up?" She had nothing. And she looked all sullen. You know, they're all sulky all the time. So she got in the car, and I said, "Listen, I know something is up. Tell me. And she goes, "I can't find my pencil case." And instantly, I looked to give answer. And here's what I said, and probably none of you can relate to this. Well, if you'd have packed your bag the night before, yeah, I go to the... No, seriously, I went to the past. That's what I wanted to do, and I resisted that urge. And I said to myself, what's possible? So I said to her, okay, so you haven't got your pencil case. What do we do now? She went, I don't know. I said, well, maybe we could go to the shop, but I haven't got time because I've got to drop 2 of them in the morning. So I haven't got time for that. And I kept on asking questions. Maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. And eventually I said, right, I'm going to drop both of you, and then I'm going to go to the cash point, get a £5, put it in an envelope, and hand it into your school office. And they're going to, and then you can go and get it at break time, because she had maths and she needed the kit. If she didn't have the kit, she's going to get a detention. And I could have even said, well, serves you right, you know, get yourself to school, get yourself organized. She's 13 years of age. Their brain's just not capable. They're like babies, but they think they're adults. And unfortunately, we think that they shouldn't be like adults, but at the same time, we don't want them to be babies. We're crippling them as we're giving them a hand up. So, and the reason I share that with, and then the other thing is, of course, is now, I didn't just leave that issue. When she got home that evening, when there's less stress on her and on me, because we're late, now we have the conversation. Jan, remember this morning, yeah, with the kit? Can I invite you to look at packing your things before you go to bed? Yeah, sure, Dad. If I'd have said that this morning, it would not have been received well at all, because it would have been adding to the problem, and it actually makes them feel lacking somehow. And we do that without even realizing it. Think possibility, not past, as one thing. There's something else I want to share with you, but I know I've got to... okay, just one more thing.
No, Melvin, hold on. Sorry, because we're literally pushing for time.
Okay.
So, anybody got a burning question for Melvin who hasn't said anything? Can I give the mic to this brother here, please?
So I've just kind of caught the tail end of your speech because I just arrived, fashionably late. But I mean, I was interested in this event anyway, and I support Brother Dougie. What I wanted to say, you know, you mentioned about a lot of parents scolding their children. This is a generational thing. This is from my parents, you know, my grandparents, particularly within the black community. You know, we're brought up to teach our children in a certain way, and that often reflects how we were taught.
Manners.
And it's why you're stupid or gal this kind of thing. So we have to try and now change that mindset, because we're not realizing that we're doing more damage to our children, the next generation, with that kind of attitude. And a lot of, you know, black people that are parents, particularly in a kind of younger generation, they're not kind of realizing the difference between what happened in the past and what should be happening now, and trying to make changes. And that is really sad. But we need to change our mindset, you know, and change that kind of generational aspect as well.
Yeah. Beautifully said, beautifully said.
Okay then, beautifully. One of Rasmika, ideally someone hasn't really spoken yet. Then we'll come back to you in a second, yeah? Anyone want to, just one more person? Yes, my sister. Okay, the brother.
Sorry, thank you. I slightly disagree with some of your points, and I'm struggling a little bit because I think there's alternatives as well. Because I know you've got limited dialogue and you're giving examples, but I think that part of our development is problem solving, part of our actual innate abilities.
It's inherent, yes.
Exactly. So also in our development, in our cerebellum, we have a actual survival mechanism that actually is passed down through generation. So even if you're in a traumatic situation, you still find ways of coping. And I think there's lots of coping strategies a lot of people use. Some of them is destructive because of choice or uninformed choices. And some is more protective and more ways of finding solutions and overcoming these obstacles. So I think in a lot of the studies that I've done as of recent, there's a lot of things in therapy and, like you were saying earlier, and going into the like root cause and resolving it. But then there's other methodologies that you could use later on in life as well. So I think biologically we all have different mechanisms. So I feel that there's thinking of the society now, looking at the way that young people are having children and the way that they're raising them. I'm of the old school of it takes a village to raise a child. So I think it's more about community and more about people. If you see something,
you'll be careful in case you got a village full of idiots.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, even if that's the case, how can we look at the community? If that is the case, how can we look at the community and improve it? Because to me, if that is the problem, and historically this is what's been going on, possibly we should be collaborating like we're doing now, finding the solutions and implementing them.
It's great what you're saying, and I really take on board some of that. One of the issues is that we tend to generalize when we need to be more specific. So, like, I taught maths for nearly 20 years, over 20 years, in fact, in secondary schools, and most of you are aware that if you want to find the area of a square, right, you have to multiply this length by that length, and then you get the area of that shape. Now, that is the general formula for the area of a square. But you can't say all squares are 10 meters square. You can't. You have to find now the specifics for that. So when we say things like it takes an entire village to raise a child, I get it, but it's a generalization. And we need to get underneath that so we can begin to do some more work around it. Otherwise, you can just throw that out there at someone and then, well, what now? Who's in the village? What does that mean? So I'm not knocking what you're saying. It's so important that we have direction and we have a general way of approaching it. But it's the specifics that we need to get to. That's how we're going to get to solutions, is one way of looking at it.
Yeah, you think, say, the way people raise children in, say, Gambia or Ghana and them places, better than what going in England now?
Okay, so...
Wait, because it's a double question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did mention, say, why the place is full of idiot. I mean, I want to know if it's like what going, you know.
I'm not going to answer the second part. Let me take that first part. So, and I'm going to use a platitude, if you like, a generalization, which is don't throw the baby out with the bath. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So, and we have to be careful of comparison living. Right, so the theory is great that Gambia is better than the UK at raising children. And, I mean, I've never been, so I wouldn't dream to say no, it isn't, or yes, it is. But I'm just wary of some of the benefits that we have of living here. Some of them are great. They're tremendous. Like, if we could get our financial act together, then we could really begin to make a massive impact on some of the areas in Africa and the Caribbean where poverty exists. We could probably eradicate it for ourselves without government intervention. So I do hear what you're saying, but I'm just a bit wary of, trying to make that direct comparison.
Okay then. Okay then.
Okay, true.
Okay, we're gonna put a break here, right? At this point, I'm gonna ask your name, brother, Dada, just to 1 minute, just talk about your service. Also, we do have Peter over there very quickly. Dada, just 1 minute, please, to talk about your service. Give me a clap, please.
So, I've only got 1 minute. Can we stretch it to 90 seconds, please? First of all, I just want to say a big up to both the brothers for sharing. And so I want to say this. I've been blessed to have had a spiritual mentor for 35 years. It's interesting that 2019 is the year of the number 3. Those of you who may know about numerology will know that number 3 represents the feminine energy. And what is love? Love is the feminine energy. It's interesting that the feminine energy is being expressed through these brothers today, because that's what they've been sharing. Would you not agree? And so my whole work is, for the last 27 years, I've dedicated my whole life to sharing this message that these brothers are sharing. There's a study that says, and we've been talking about mental health, but psychologists know that when they did a study, they saw that people who committed crime had thought about it for a long period before they did it. Yeah? Which says that where the mind goes, the body follows. But I want to let you know this, that where your spirit goes, your mind will follow, and your body will follow after. And so I've been trying to share that, as far as I'm concerned, in my humble opinion, to be successful in this society, you have to be anchored in the Most High. And how you can do that in a practical way. I'm not preaching, I'm not talking about Christianity or Muslim. But my work has really been, so for the last 27 years, trying to work out how do I communicate this to our people, to people generally. And I now finally have come up with it. It's called the Grow Personal Success, or the GPS system. And the GPS system really is about showing you how, if you do not recognize the 5 pillars that underpin every human life. You see, we have a mental life, as we've heard. We have a spiritual life, as we've heard. We have a physical life. We have a financial life. And we have a relational life, each and every one of us. But it says in a good book, through lack of vision, a people perish. And so if you have no vision of these 5 areas of your life, what's going to happen to them? And that's what we're experiencing. So it's very natural what we're experiencing. So if you'd like to know more about the GPS system, I wrote a book about it to try and explain, after working with young people for 20 years, the things that we've just heard. The young people said, what you're teaching us, Uncle T, you need to teach adults. And hence I wrote the book. And so if you're interested to know more about the book and the work that we do, please come and see me afterwards. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay then. Peter, very quickly, just 1 minute, talk about your service. It's going to be you? All right then. If you can, minute, because we're pushing for time, you see. Can I get a sister a clap, please?
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everyone. My name's Natasha Cohen, and I'm one of the project managers for Generation Next. Both myself and Peter are mental health professionals. We work within the health and the local authority environment. So we see firsthand the experiences of our black brothers and sisters and what the system has been and is still doing to our fellow human beings. So on the back of this, we decided to set up Generation Next because we recognise that we need to interact with our younger members of the community from a proactive level, so looking at things holistically, working with them through education, advocacy, employment opportunities, working with other community organisations, so using our skills as mental health professionals to develop mental wealth within our younger people. So we've only just set up our organisation and we're looking to grow through our communities. We'll be attending events like this through the coming months. We've set up our website, so please come and talk to us, have a look at our website, ask questions. We'll try and give you as much information as we can, and you'll be very welcome to come and join us and help participate in growing our organisation. Thank you.
Okay then. All right. So what's going to happen now, for about 10 minutes, there's going to be a short sketch by jammers, well, critters rather. And are they ready? Minty, are they ready? See if they're. Was it 2 minutes? 1 minute? Okay, if that's the case then. My brother, can you talk about your service very quickly? Come, jump, man. Jump. Talk about your service. 1 minute, yeah? Talk about 1 minute.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, 1 minute, brother.
Okay. Good evening. I am a medical missionary. I work with people with all kinds of illnesses, including mental illness. I have quite a number of people on my programs, on my treatment programs. I just want to say the important things have been said, but I wanted to add the important aspect of our diet. Our great ancestors ate food at its best. Unfortunately, we are forced to have our fields in the supermarkets, and that food has already been damaged and destroyed, and by the time we get it, we also further destroy it. One brother mentioned about our cooking ways and so forth. And it is these that I work hard with people to make sure that we can change. The best of them all is, even if you are not religious, if you go back to natural products, you will find quite a lot of changes. I gave one person with depression, and they went on a raw food for about 1 week. And after that, they used to... Yeah, okay. All right. After 1 week, they were able to get energy, and they were able to go and do things they were not doing at that moment. They usually canceled appointment and so forth. But right now, as I speak, they are now working. And that's, for me, a big challenge. So we can make a difference. We can make a change. Just get in touch with me, and we will do something.
Okay, then. First, talk about your business. Okay, then. At this point here, we have critters who just come by a limousine, I understand, to be here. Anyway, I don't know what's going to take place, but anyway, please welcome Critters and Miss to the front. Come on, give me a clap. Yep.
Sit down and relax. You know, so we are going out tonight. Change your plan. No, change your plan. I get my nails done, look. My nails done. Yes, you can have them done here. We're going out tonight. You forget? We plan to go out tonight, you know? Change your plan. Let's sit down and relax. Really? Come now, please. We're going out. Last month you said we're not going out, and this we planned for today. It's like change your plan. It's what happened to you? Drunk? No, man, don't. It's all right. It's all right. You could be left. No.
You like Netflix.
We're not watching no Netflix tonight. We are God.
Baby, let's stay inside. You said we never spend time together. Let's have some quality time.
Me not play with you.
You know,
No. We're supposed to go out tonight.
yes, but we want to watch Netflix. Come, sit down, relax, baby.
There's something wrong with you.
Nothing wrong.
Why are you drunk?
I don't drink, me don't drink, but
What you say what?
me don't drink. Me look drunk to you.
Yes.
What make you say that?
After 20 years, me must know if you're drunk or not.
Me no drink, me only had one buckle.
What is wrong
Me
with
look,
you?
what is wrong with you? You say we want quality time, because it's quality time right here now. You're a quality man like me. Babes, your eyes look like succulent, sweet honey birds with the right structure. Your body is like a rose in the forest and the grill.
We're supposed to be going out. We've got an appointment.
We have a slight problem.
What's the problem?
I quit my job.
Sorry?
I quit.
You quit your job? How? Why? Really?
I'm not a waste man. Man, they try to treat me like a boy, so I have to walk
You're
out.
no waste man, but you
No,
quit
man.
your job. Really?
Can't let them talk to me like me's a boy. Baby, come let's sit down and relax.
No. What really is going on with you today?
Nothing going on. Me just walk out my job. But I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to break your heart.
What do you mean you didn't want to tell me? When did this happen?
Only 2 months ago. Mommy want me
No,
near.
don't touch me.
Nobody want to break
2 months ago. So you've been lying every day. You've been leaving the house.
I didn't want to hurt you. Me's the man in your house.
You're the man of the house.
You're not
Really?
a waste man.
You're the waste man. You quit your job today and you're the man of the house. Or you work hard. So are you going to pay the bills?
Out of the money for the wedding.
Excuse me, what?
You know the car that I did buy you?
Don't touch me.
The car that I did buy you for your birthday last month.
The car you bought me for my birthday last month. Yeah?
I had to get some money from some certain place.
You teeth it?
No, from the money from the wedding that we saved, that your daddy give us.
You took my money from my father and buy me a car from birthday.
Daddy, I love you.
Because you love me, you don't know that you're not right enough.
Really, me not right.
You're not right enough.
Baby.
Don't.
We can
Sit
get
down. Don't back off.
We can get
Back
through
off.
this.
No.
What you talk about?
There's something wrong with you.
Nothing wrong with
And
me.
why you don't talk 2 months?
Me didn't want
2 months.
Me didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Look, there's something wrong with you. If you don't want to talk to me, you better find a doctor because.
Baby doctor.
Take this.
No, we
Take
can be
this.
transgender.
Look, no, look, I'm coming back from my things because something wrong with you. You can't. No, touch it.
No, come on, you're a waste man. You're a waste man. You can't handle a real man like me. Done with women now, you know. Never find yourself a robot.
All right. Yeah. Okay then. How do you find that sketch? Because they say that men don't talk. And it's true. Men do not talk, you know. Women tend to talk to the girlfriends and friends, but men tend to hold things down. So, any comments? How do you find that? Yeah? Eskiv. Very nice. Just 1 minute. How you find that?
That actor, I've seen him a few times and fantastic. Brings the role across with a comedic side to it, which is nice. And I think, you know, it might be it's funny, but we can all learn from it in regards to, as you just said, that we're running a program, as you know, Doug, with men with voices, and men have got to talk. Whatever it is, whether it be financial, we had a brother that talked about the 5 pillars there. They've got to talk about these 5 pillars within their relationships, which is very important. Family involved, young people involved, they've got to get out. Men have just got to start talking amongst their friends, amongst their family, to get things off their head.
Okay then. Anybody else want to share? No more than a minute. Okay. No more than a minute, please. Go on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you're saying about like us and our children and how we're brought up, and I was saying to a couple of people sitting here that I give thanks to my mum. One day I said, "Mum, I love you so much," and she says, "Why?" I said, "Mum, every thump, lick, box, kick, even when you kick me down the stairs, I thank you, Mum, for it." She said, "You're sick, you know." I said, "No, Mum, I'm not sick. Probably if you never do that to us, we wouldn't turn out so good. Your kids are not bad. But I think it's all a beating you gave us. But watch it now. See the flip side of the coin? From this government telling us that we can't beat, we pick them. Now the pick them are beat we. Yeah? So where we are saying, oh, we're wrong and this and that. Yeah, some parents were terrible. Yeah, we were terrible. We did get some beatings. Well, I say I'm surprised I'm still alive. But at the end of the day, I liked my upbringing. I think it's what's made me today. I was very disciplined with my children as well. But like I said, with the system now, and they say to you, you can't control. We control your children. And that's what we've got to realize. Is the system take away our children, why now they're wild and we can't do nothing about it. But then the blame goes back onto the parents. Why should it go back onto the parents?
Okay. Well, I want to focus on the clip that took place here. You see what I'm saying? Because we could talk about it a little bit later on. But just one more, two more, just about the clip. What we just saw with Jammers and you want to talk? Or if not, okay, give the mic to Courtney. Yes.
Hello. I was leaving and then I saw this. So that's wicked. But the key thing for me, that gentleman was me. Yeah, that gentleman was me. As you know, I used to be a big time promoter, and I used to be out there champagning it up and everything. But while my two children's mums were looking after my boys, yeah, and I realized that actually that's why I honor my mum, the mums in here, because the mums were raising. Well, my mum raised me, and then the two sons, mums raised them without me being there, because I was still trying to be this other person.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
But what I've realized, again, like I said, I've had to deal with my trauma and everything like that and go back to my childhood and everything like that. Yeah, what I realized in that journey is that because I was traumatized, we was talking about addiction, we was talking about things that we do, so our emotions drive our behavior. A lot of my behavior back then, what I was doing, was just my trauma coming out in a negative way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I've realized going to my counsel and everything. And obviously, not mentioning my dad, but a lot of what my dad, I witnessed as well in terms of the abuse and so forth and his lifestyle. So again, that really resonated with me, and that's why I wanted to share that.
Okay.
You know, 'cause again, I see that with a lot of my young people at the school I work in.
Okay then. We take Ngozi.
I just want to say that that's a powerful message, because a lot of men, I'm not going to deny that, a lot of men do not admit that there is trauma in their lives and they have to go back. So big up to you, young man, for actually addressing it and admitting it, and this is what we need to hear and see. Yeah?
What I liked what's happening is that it's for men to feel that they're confident to be men, to be able to tell if there's something weak in them. And I thought that was beautiful, because he's actually strong to be able to talk about that. The fact that the guy couldn't say that he lost his job, whether he lost his job or didn't get a job, it's like it's a weakness. You can't say it. To be a man, you have to be this image that is not the man that we say is positive for the young child to see as a father, a carer, a provider. It's something that they feel that they can't tell if there's a share with a wife or the family. But if you're working together in a family, then you're open to what it is you need to build to make that family work. And that's what's lovely about this situation. I big up Brother Dougie to bringing this and making us open up ourselves to what we're feeling in our own relationships.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, then you, and then you'll be the last one.
For me, that sketch was really powerful, because the brother, you could tell that he was wearing a label. And the truth of the matter is, you see, we're living in a very powerful spiritual time. But if we don't understand the language of the universe, then we'll miss it. You see, talking and communication are not one and the same. And when we recognize that we are not workers, we're not fathers, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, when we live our lives from that place, then I can't explain to you how your life literally does a paradigm shift. I've lived that experiment for 27 years. And so I would just encourage people that use the energy of this time, use the energy of this year in particular to take your life to the next level. But guess what? You have to care about your life. The brother said earlier on, you have to care about your growth. If you don't care about yourself, why should anyone else? Why should the universe? And so if you want to know more, can I just give out my email? We're doing a webinar, www.tonydada.com/webinar. I'll be doing that on Wednesday, and then I'll be able to talk more about how you can tap into your energy and the power that you have. This is a year. It will take another 10 years before the opportunity that this year holds comes around again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the last one.
Hi. Oh, should I sit down? Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say it was interesting learning about all these things. And for men specifically who have issues and they don't talk about it, I've been thinking about it, and I wrote a little poem for men, because I'm a poet, I'm a writer. So I wrote a little poem for men to encourage them to feel like they are somebody. Because men, they don't get to talk like women. And they need to talk. So we could help them. And then they could also express themselves and know how to talk about the issue, what to do, where to go, who to speak to. Because sometimes they bottle it all up. And I'm not a man, as you can see, but I feel their pain. I feel they understanding. Maybe because I just have feelings. And I want to help men. And I'm trying to say to all men, it's about time you talk. Get together. Have your own group. Do something. Plan something. Eat together. Go out. Get together with your family, your children, yourself. Do something. Feel special. You men are special. You men are unique. You men are wonderful. You men are super. Don't worry about what people say. I used to get put down. I get put down a lot, but you know what I've learned? I've learned to just give it to God. I've learned to be strong. I'm a woman. Sometimes I don't have nobody. Sometimes I don't have friends. Sometimes I don't have family who care about me. There's one or two friends here who know me here. They know that. So I've learned to give it to God. I've learned to feel like I'm special. I've learned to realize that I am somebody. When nobody loves you or care, remember that you men are special. And you ladies, you've come a long way. You're not in this world for nothing. You're in this world for a reason. You deserve your best. You are the best. You men are special. You are wonderful. Remember that, okay? You need to do something like this drama we just did. So I also wanted to say that it's been great. I've enjoyed what's been going on, and I hope that there will be more of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, then. What we're going to do now, we're going to have a break, right, for about 20 minutes. Now then, those who's parked in the alleyway just out there, you need to move your car, you know, because they will come down on us, you know. So I know the individuals are there, so you just have to find. In fact, if you park on the main, it's free parking now, yeah? 6:30, yeah. It's free parking. So you need to park, right? So we're going to have a break for about 20 minutes, yeah? There's refreshment and there's food on sale in there. There's stools all around the place, inside the other room as well. See? So, yeah. You have to, yeah. It's free parking now outside there, yeah. You have to move your car, yeah. Yeah.